Hello everyone, myself Deepa Singh, working as Assistant Professor in Gandhia School of Pharmacy, SGVU. Today we discuss our next topic, that is sunscreen. In this we covered complete information regarding the sunscreen, SPF and how you formulate, which SPF is better and what is SPF. All these things we covered in this today's lecture. So today's topic is sunscreen, which is the topic of Industrial Pharmacy 1 fifth semester subject. Before starting this topic of this lecture, we should know about some learning object of this lecture. So in this learning object, you should know about brief introduction about the sunscreen. Means what is a sunscreen, definition and description, production of a sunscreen, how you produce, how manufacturing procedure is required for manufacturing or production of a sunscreen, and which parameter you consider during the manufacturing of a sunscreen, excipient used in sunscreen, which excipient is responsible or number of evaluation parameter of sunscreen. Means how you evaluate after formulating your sunscreen or before coming in a market. You just assure that your sunscreen that you manufacture is good quality and overall is good quality, and you can now use it or maybe apply on your own or by that particular person. So evaluation parameter of sunscreens all are the learning object that you should know in this lecture. Next, introduction and definition part of the sunscreen. So everyone knows that what is sunscreen, day-to-day life, where all he or she maybe apply in sunscreen. It's a very common formulation because that helps to protect from sun or sun rays, or everyone use nowadays day-to-day life. So sunscreen are constantly involving component of dermatologists, therapeutics, armamentarium. Means it's a constantly involving, or we can say components of a dermatologist or used for dermatologic purpose or skin purpose. In this, it provides therapeutic armamentarium purpose and substance that alter the UV radiation effect on the skin by absorption or refraction. Means sunscreen is also helps to protect your skin from UV rays or sun rays, and these rays may absorb or reflect onto your skin. But when you apply the sunscreen, it helps to protect your skin from UV radiation and helps to provide a proper skin condition when you apply the sunscreen. And these absorbed or refracted sun rays do not affect your skin. So this is a definition. So this is a penetration. Suppose when we applying the sunscreen, and this is a 3 layer of the skin. These is the rays, or we can say the sun rays that affect or damage your skin. UVA is more harmful compared to UVB and UVC. These are 3 UV rays of sun that affect your skin or that tan your skin. So these are the 3 rays. In this, UVA is more dangerous compared to B and C. It penetrates directly into hypodermis or inside your skin. And UVB just onto the surface of epidermis or onto the skin surface, and UVC don't affect or damage your skin. So when you apply the sunscreen, it helps to protect from these 3 rays. Not 3, but a single UVA is protected because it's more dangerous, and UV is also a little bit. So after applying the sunscreen, it do not penetrate or reflect your skin or protect from sunlight or tanning. So this is a penetrance. Now UVA, that is long wave, that is 320 to 400 nanometer. This is largely affecting UV light that may damage or tan your skin. In this weak atherogenic activity, low energy waves means the atherogenic activity is observed, but this is a weak in amount. Atherogenic is a skin problem, and low energy waves. Energy waves is also low, and the primary tanning component, that tan is injury by ROS to the skin DNA. In fact, attempt to prevent the further DNA damage. Hence, it directly affect the inside your skin or maybe damage your DNA or impact your DNA and maybe tan your skin. Then these UVA is come contact or reflect or absorb onto your skin and penetrate deeper than UVB, that is dermis. Means it is more harmful than B and C. B is to penetrate only a upper layer, that is dermis of the skin, but this is a more deeper than your UVB. And tanning photogenic, that is tides, and means mainly tanning or photo aging problem are observed, and other than these some severe problem is also observed, and that's a tides, PMPLE, ceramic ptosis. These are the common problem due to this UVA. Not only tanning, but different number of problem is also varied due to this penetration of this UV light. Maybe tanning, photoaging, that is tides, PMPLE, xeroic keratosis. These are the some common problem due to this UVA lights or long wavelength. Next is UVB or medium wavelength. It affect but little bit less and affect only upper layer of your skin, that is dermis, not affect too deep or any other layer. And this erythrogenic activity is the highest. Most severe damage means the more erythrogenic activity is observed compared to the A, and the severe damage is also observed because it affects only the outer layer, upper layer. Primary burning component, sunburn, vitamin D synthesis, means it burns so many components or primary component when we contact with UVB lights or UVB rays, and sunburn is also vitamin D synthesis and responsible for inducing skin cancer. Means UVA is penetrate very deeply, but UVB penetrate on the surface, but it cause more severe effect like skin cancer also, and producing skin responsible for producing skin cancer. Direct impact on the cell DNA and protein. It directly affects the DNA as well as cell protein, and the akinetic keratosis, SCC and BCC are the problem that may be observed due to this UVB medium wavelength. And more severe is skin cancer, and it also damage cell DNA and proteins also. Next is UVC, or you can say short wavelength. Out of these three, it is a very shorter. Is absorbed near totally by stratospheric ozone, means it maybe absorb itself onto the surrounding or in the atmosphere, not affect your skin or not absorb or reflect onto your skin. It directly absorb it onto the ozone layer only. And the artificial source is germicidal lamp. Global warming, transport, CVSS, supersonic protection depend on the latitude, altitude, and time of the day. Means these are the some property of UVC light, and this is maybe very to time of day or maybe evening. These will be less or more, and latitude and altitude of that particular height. So that because now this UVC light don't affect any person, or it is not cause any harmful effect to your skin. Only A, B, N is also show some more dangerous problem, but C is not show any problem or such kind of the problem. Next is the solar radiation, and the solar radiation is also some UV lights, and according to this person is maybe very A and B type and C type. And this, if solar radiation is 94 to 95%, then we can say that it comes under UVA light. And if it's 3 to 5%, then it's a UVB light. And if it's insignificant, then we can say that it's a UVC light. And partial and complete attenuation of UVB and CY stratospheric ozone. Means this is also depend on attenuation methods, or B and C depend on stratospheric ozone method. Next is indication. What are the indication or problem you suffer after sunburn, or maybe these UVA and B affect your skin? So in this condition, maybe sunburn or suntan are the common or most commonly. First is observed with sunburn and suntan. Next is flickering and decoloration of skin, get the freckle or decolor or change the color of your skin. Next is photo aging. Some aging effect is also produced, or skin looks like a very old age person. Next is neoplasm and melanomas, non-melanomas. This is a skin problem, or maybe you can say disease. And next is phototoxic, photoallergic reaction, some sensitivity reaction due to the sunlight. And next is photosensitivity disease. In this, the different diseases are included for photosensitivity disease. In this, first is photomorphous light eruption. This is mainly 290 to 365 nanometer we observe. And second is solar urticaria, that is 290 to 515 nanometer we observe. Next is chronic actinic dermatitis. This is 290 nanometer and visible. Next is persistent slight reaction. This is 290 to 400 nanometer. Next is lupus erythematosus, that is 290 to 330 nanometer. Next is xeroderma pigmentosum, that is 290 to 340 nanometer. Next is albinism and post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. and some color change of your skin or hyperpigmentation or anti-inflammatory effect are also observed in this or maybe due to this UV light. So these are the some common problems. This is maybe depending on the UV light A, B, C, or any other problem, or maybe vary depending on the severity or of absorption reflection mechanism of UV light. Next is classification. According to FDA, we are classifying this sunscreen, and should be according to FDA and approved by FDA procedure, not used by your own procedure. So in this last FDA sunscreen monograph was issued in 1999 with list of 16 approval sunscreen agents. Means large approval or large modification in FDA observed in 1999 in sunscreen, and in this list of sunscreen is approved, that is list is 16 sunscreen agent, and in this reclassify or in this chemical cream are present, or we can say sunscreen are the chemical in nature, and in this chemical nature there's two type of cream. One is organic physical and second is inorganic. So organic or inorganic both are present in this reclassification. So local organic or inorganic is systemic, and this cosmetic is OTC by FDA in 1972. In 1972 is also one of the OTC cream or sunscreen, and recently revised is only 1999. Next is organic chemical sunscreen. Means you know about what is organic chemical sunscreen and inorganic organic chemical sunscreen, and difference between these two creams, organic as well as inorganic. In this organic chemical sunscreen, organic UV filters are active ingredient that absorb the UV radiation. Means UV filter are active ingredient, or you are using some active ingredient is your organic in nature that of the UV radiation within the particular range. Means it absorbs the UV radiation or UV light at particular range or particular wavelength, and depending on the chemical structure. It is also depend on chemical structure of your UV light or UV waves, and this is containing organic material in your sunscreen, and this is protect somewhat UV radiation or maybe high protection from UV radiation, and also depending on the structure of chemical that you use. And once the UV filter absorb energy and it moves from low energy ground state to high energy excited state. Hence, when you apply the organic sunscreen and the UV get absorbed, then in this UV filter absorb energy and moves from low energy ground to higher energy excited state, or from low to higher energy state. Next is organic sunscreen. In this UV filter, this is organic sunscreen is mainly we are applying for UV filter or protection from UV. Means almost all the sunscreen or majorly sunscreen is protected from UV sunlight, because it's more dangerous, and the wavelength is also damage your skin or will show some severe problem, damage your cell DNA, protein. Organic sunscreen is mainly for UVB filter and PABA derivative. It is also one cream, and all ingredients are present in PABA, para-aminobenzoic acid derivative, that is Peptide or most potent UVB absorber. This is a largely used or commonly used sunscreen for UVB filter. And next is Cinnamed. Cinnamed is also another one sunscreen, and it provides the effect from UV light. And in this Cinnamed, the example is oxytonamide, most frequently used sunscreen ingredient, and Sinovax. These are the two ingredients present in Sinovax. Next is salicylate. This is another one sunscreen, and in this also different ingredients are present and protect from the sunlight. So in salicylate, we can say that oxosalate, homosalate, trolamine, salicylate. These are the ingredients present in salicylate. These are the common ingredients which is present in salicylate sunscreen. Next is octopyrrolene and inosuzazole. These are also some common cream of organic sunscreen which provide the protection from UVB filter or UVB light or rays. And this next is UVA filter. These are some another sunscreen which has to protect from UVA filter. In this benzophenone, that is UVB and UVA2. This sunscreen helps to protection from UVA as well as UVB sunscreen. Next is oxybenzone, which absorb UVB and UVA2 both. Means it is also effective for both A and B. Next is solizobenzone. deoxybenzone. This is maybe only for UVA filter, and avobenzene or parso, that is 1789 discovered in this UVA absorber. It to protect only from UVA one. And next is meradamine or meradanites, that is UVA2 absorber. This is two are only for UVA, not protect from the UVA. So you should take those cream or before taking the sunscreen, make sure that it protects from UV and UVA, both type of filter or rays. So you select according to your these AB and B both filters. Next is broad spectrum UVA and UVB. Means that are commonly used and available in the market, both A and B. You should select these so that you can protect it from A and B both type of the filter. In this, first is enamazole, that is Meroxy XX, pretended L'Oreal Centrazine, Meroxy. Next is Silatriazole, Meroxy XL. And next is Pemotrazonol, that is Tinozolv X, Pronidazole, and Tinozolv M. In this Tinozolv M, there's a broader spectrum or hybrid spectrum effect are present. In this hybrid broader spectrum sunscreen, that is organic plus inorganic, and A or B, both A and B are effective in Tinozolv M. Next is inorganic sunscreen, or another type is inorganic. Already we discussed or covered previous one is organic sunscreen. So in inorganic sunscreen, main ingredient is zinc oxide and titanium oxide, and some other ingredient also present in inorganic sunscreen. And in this other iron oxide, petroleum, latum kaolin, calamine, lactomethanol. In this aluminum bitumen sulfate and talc, inorganic agent function by reflecting, scattering, UV radiation or opaque, and these opaque nature and whitening effect are inherent disadvantages may be minimized by use of metronidazole or ultrafine particles. Means it is cream or sunscreen. In this main ingredient, you're seeing oxide of titanium dioxide is present, other than some iron oxide or petroleum kaolin is also present, and calamine or ethylocalamine in this aluminum biosulfate talc are some of the another ingredient which is present in this sunscreen. And this provide a good effect or also provide a protecting effect against the UV light, and it provide a reflecting and a scattering or opaque effect with the of the sunscreen, and protect the light. They may reflect or scatter and radiation of these light, and these are opaque in nature, and whitening effect are inherent disadvantages may be minimized by use of metronidazole or ultrafine particle. These cream are also available in some modification form, that is ultrafine form or metronidazole type particles. Next is sunscreen pill. This is a one cream also. You can see the cream form available, but it is a pill and also helps to protect from sunlight. And this Janssen solution with resorcinol. So this is one cream that is available in market, and formula of this Janssen solution with resorcinol is resorcinol is 14 gram, and salicylic acid is also 14 gram. Lactic acid is 85 gram. 85%, that is 40 gram. This formula is checked only according to gram. And ethanol is sufficient quantity to make 100 ml. Means up to 100 ml you make the volume. I think 14 plus, then after remaining volume you adjust up to 100 ml with the help of ethanol. In this sunscreen pill, next is modified Janssen solution. This is a modified form of previous one. In this, just concentration got changed. And in this, lactic acid is 17%, salicylic acid is also 17%, and citric acid is 8%. So sufficient, you make the volume up to 100 ml with the ethanol, only the concentration get changed, and amount of this lactic acid and citric acid, salicylic acid is also changed. Here, so I think both are 14%, salicylic and lactic acid is 40, but here is 17%, and resorcinol is not. Instead of resorcinol, we are using citric acid and maintain the volume up to 100 ml with the help of ethanol. Next is systemic photo protector. So this is a cream which helps to protect or photo act as a photo protector. And this systemic sunscreen is mainly beta carotene, retinol, alpha tocopherol. These are the common ingredients. histamines, aspirin, indomethacin, and corticosteroids. These are the some photoprotector, or these are the some chemicals that have to protect from a sunlight or act as a photoprotector in systemic sunscreen. Next is these cream is also produce some adverse drug reaction or show some dangerous effect when you apply this continuously or maybe a large amount. So there's maybe chances that it also shows some adverse drug effect or some problematic effect. So in this adverse drug effect is mainly xerosis. Xerosis is also one of the skin problem. And next is contact dermatitis. In this contact dermatitis, ACD, ICD, folliculatitis, these are mainly observed. Maybe due to the sunscreen, acne is also produced. Next is hypersensitivity, rash staining. Some person who have a sensitive skin or sensitivity to certain chemicals, they are observed some hypersensitivity reaction or rashes are observed. Then apply the sunscreen. And this hypersensitivity rashes staining mainly observed. Cream who contain PABA derivative or para-amino benzoic acid mainly show this hypersensitivity or rashes staining problem. So these are the some adverse drug reaction of your sunscreen. Next is sunscreen indices. There is some protection formula. Indices, when you take the cream, they may be 30 SPF, 40 SPF, or 50 like this. So this is the indices. According to this, it have a protection property from the sunlight. And there's a nothing but the sun protection formula. SPF is a sun protection formula, and it is mentioned according to a protection property. In the sun protected factor, that is UVB. Mainly we see for UVB in this MEB of photoprotected skin and MEB of unprotected skin. We calculate with the help of these formula of SPF. According to these formula, photoprotected or unprotected skin, you can easily calculate how much SPF of your cream and protection property of your cream and La2 mg or centimeter square of the product. Low SPF 2 to 50, which helps to protect from sun, but very low in amount if SPF is 2 to 15. And next is medium SPF is 15 to 30, and high SPF is 30 to 50. And very highest SPF is more than 50. So these is a classification according to the SPF or indices. This we decide according to particular protection against the sunlight or against the particular rays. In this, we are testing the sunscreen with the formula, or with this formula we can easily calculate photoprotected skin area and unprotected skin area. And in this, we classified according to 4 types: low, medium, high, and highest. Mainly, we are prefer the sunscreen is high SPF, which completely protect from sunlight. That is 30 to 50, or between 30 to 50, or maybe also prefer 30 also. But less than 30 may helps to protect a less amount or effective only less sunlight. Otherwise, these 30 to 50 is mainly preferred. Next is Astenia from CIDR is 1962. FDA in 1978. Next is the significance of SPF. So in the significance of SPF, SPF of 15 block about 93.3% of UVB radiation, while one with of the SPF 30 blocks about 96.7% of UVB radiation. Means if you are using SPF 15, 15 is your comes in a low, and in this, if you are using 15, it blocks almost 93.3% of UVB radiation, and while one of with SPF 30 block about 96.7% of UVB. These both have a more difference. If you are using only SPF 15, then it only block or protect from 93.9%. Or if you are using SPF 30, then it block or protect effect about 96.7%. And UVB radiation both. And in this SPF 50, is 98% blockage. Means if you prefer 50, then it also helps to protect from almost 98%. In this 30 or 50, very little bit difference, only in decimal, or maybe we can say 1.3 or 4, like this type difference, because 30 is protect from 96.7% and 50 is protect from 98% blockage. In this absorbance mainly 100 to 100 SPF. This difference of 5% may make the difference between the anesthetically pleasing sunscreen and undesirable one. Means these 5% difference may vary according to anesthetically pleasing sunscreen and undesirable one sunscreen. And in this, the blue R, that is SPF, mentioned about after 40-80 minutes immersion. Means you should maintain proper time period when you apply the sunscreen, or maintain at least 40-80 minutes for immersion. or apply before we going to outside. Next, SPF in Fitavazal scale. In this category, according to screen time, we are classified the SPF. In this screen category 1 to 6, these are the category. In first category, always 1 or never 10. Means only screen get 1 but never 10. And in this, SPF is maybe more than 15 you prefer and burns easily. Those skin who can burns easily, SPF is 15 and burns moderately in category 3, that is average temperature. In this 10 to 15 SPF is preferred. Next is burn minimally and tans well, that is olive skin in the 6 to 10 and rarely burns turn profusely, that is brown skin is 4 to 6 and never burn, that is black skin. In this no sunscreen or none SPF is preferred. Next is PA++. In this photo again, protection agents where we can just say that protection against UVA in Japanese standard according to Japanese cream. This is one of the cream protection against a UVA light or Japanese standard. In this UVA dose that induce persist pigment darkening 2 to 24% hours after exposure in sunscreen protect the skin. Means the skin get pigmented or get dark after 2 to 14 hours when exposed in sunlight or when apply the sunscreen, and UVB does not that induce persistent pigment darkening 2 to 24 hours after exposure and protected skin. Next is other indices. So this is some another indices that we cover in this. In this persistent pigment darkening, that is PPD Colopia. So this is the other indices, and immune protection factor is from UVA light, and boost stars rating is 1 to 5 UK, and minimum melanotized dose is MN. This is a picture of the sunscreen, and after this, next is application. Application part of sunscreen are all suns exposed area in concentration of 2 gram. Not gram, 2 mg per centimeter square, means this is the amount that you can apply onto your skin and allow to dry completely 30 to 45 minutes before sun exposure. Means you apply at least 30 to 40 minutes before when you're going outside or exposing in sunlight, and it should be applied every 2 hours after swimming vigorously activity. Excessive perception or towel uses means if you are using sunscreen once in a day, then it's not sufficient. If you are continuously exposing in sunlight, you should apply in every 2 hours for protection of these light. And if you use every 2 hours, it may be majorly protected from sunlight, otherwise it is not effective. In every 2 hours you should reapply these cream, and if you have a certain another condition like if you are swimming condition or vigorous activity or excessive perspiration or sweating is very high, and this you can use towel for protection and apply a large amount of sunscreen. And teaspoon rule for sunscreen is 3 ml, that is slightly more than half of the teaspoon. 3 ml means slightly more than half of the teaspoon or approximately half of the teaspoon. And this is apply on the face, neck, and each arm. These are the majorly applying area for sunscreen. And 6 ml means slightly more than teaspoon. It means 3 ml is half of the or slightly more than half of the, then 3 ml, 6 ml is just opposite to 3. This is approximately 1 teaspoon or little bit more than 1 teaspoon. And it is applied by chest, back, and each leg. Next is the vehicle. In this vehicle, mainly we are preparing an emulsion type. So this sunscreen, we can say that it is an emulsion, or maybe emulsion is OW type or WO type emulsion. Next is gels and aqua gels, sticks, spray. Means this cream is not only available, or sunscreen is not available only in a semi-solid form or in a cream form. It is also available in different form, maybe emulsion form, and emulsion is also available in both OW and WO type. And next is gels, and aqua gels is also available for sunscreen. Sticks, some sticks type formulation, is spray type formulation, and cosmetics containing Neutrogena and Vichy Vanilla Vogue, etc. These are some formulation which is available in market for your sunscreen. Next is recent trends. So in recent trend, there are some of the recent discovery takes place, or some recent modification in sunscreen takes place. In recent trends, we are just changing the formulation type or incorporating, or maybe using some advanced technique and converting into more effective formulation. In this, Sunspheres In the sunsphere are the styrene and acrylic copolymer that do not absorb UV radiation but enhance the effectiveness of active sunscreen ingredient. Means this is the one of the cream sunsphere and this containing styrene and acrylic polymer, and this is not absorb the UV radiation, not protection of UV radiation, but enhance the effectiveness or provide the more effect of the active sunscreen ingredient that you use in your sunscreen. And scattering UVR, that is increased contact with active UV filter in the sunscreen. It has to protect for a long period of time, and sunspares are also available in powder form, can boost SPF by 50 to 70, making it possible to reduce the concentration of active ingredient. And in this, there's a less amount of active ingredient is present, and it is also available in a powder form, and it can boost by 15 to 17% by making it possible to reduce the concentration of active ingredients. And next is microencapsulation. So microencapsulation is another formulation or technique used for sunscreen. In this, we are converting a formulation in micro in size or converting it to microencapsulation size. So in this microencapsulation, active ingredient in silica gel, or mainly active ingredient that we are taking in microencapsulation is your silica gel, and minimal allergic or irritant reaction are observed. Less allergic or irritant reaction are observed in this. And in this, incompatible sunscreen ingredient are safely combined and without loss of efficacy. Means when we are converting in a micro in size or micro encapsulation, it show good effect as well as some adverse effect or allergic effect or irritant effect is also reduced. And active ingredient is your silica gel or silica cell, and these ingredients are safely combined without loss of efficacy and provide good efficacy against the sunlight, and almost majority of efficacy are observed due to this microencapsulation. Next is ideal sunscreen that is required for good property. In this, order to assure optimal patient compliance, an ideal sunscreen would be a combination of physical and chemical agent. In this, we are using different physical and chemical agents or ingredients. Broader spectrum, largely used to protect from both UVA and B lights, and cosmetically elegant. Acceptance wise, it have a good appearance and easily take that particular patient. So it have proper elegance property, substantive non-irritant property, don't show any adverse effect or irritation when you apply on your skin. Next is hypoallergic reaction, no allergy or maybe very little or less amount of allergy is observed. Next is non-comedogenic, don't show any comedogenic effect. And next is economical, don't have a costly or too much high price. Everyone take or easily purchase that sunscreen, so it is also economical. These are some ideal property. According to this, you should prepare your sunscreen so that easily come in the market, or more person are prefer your sunscreen. These are some formulation. According to formulation are available in the market. One is Indian formulation, or these are the Indian formulation that is available in the market is Spare by Bockhart's, and this zinc oxide is 2%. Oxybenzene is 3%, oxyprelin is 3%, and oxytonate is 7.5%, avobenzene is 2%. It is available in 100 ml lotion, and MRP or rate is rupees 160. So this also have economically less, and SPF is 26. And the next for Indian formulation is the Sun1, or named by Sun1, available cream, and by HH Pharma. And this oxyl methoxylamine, that is 8.5%. And next is oxybenzene, that is titanium dioxide, and macrolide silicon is 6%, and methyl paraben is 0.2%, and propyl paraben is also 0.2%. It is available in cream form. Is total volume is 60 gram, and rupees is 385. SPF is 50. Next Indian formulation is Shadows by Reddy Labs. In this, oxytonates, oxysolate, oxybenzene, SPF 30. Pack is 100 ml, and formulation is transparent gel, or it is available in a gel form, and color is no color or transparent, feel like non-greasy. Means it have no color or bronzy in nature, and non-greasy in nature when you apply the skin. When we observe that it's a gel nature, but due to their good property, don't show any greasiness, and available in 75 gram bottle, that is MRP is 290. And next is Sun Grace by Glenmark. It is another formulation which is manufactured by Glenmark, and this SPF is 40 and available in 100 ml lotion, and rupees 325. Next Indian formulation is Cetaphil, that is available for both the UVA and V light by Golden Mark. And SPF is 50. It is a very good because it is protected from both the light, UVA and UV light. And SPF is also high, that is 50 SPF, and MRP is 100, and the MRP is 200, and available in 100 ml lotion. Next is Cyanocote by Curatia. This is available in 100 gram in 249. Next is Sacrose by Ranbaxy. It is available in SPF 23, Aquagel and cream formats. It is available in both form, maybe in an Aquagel or maybe in a cream form. So you can prefer anyone. And SPF of this is 26 only. Low shaded by Apex. Then this SPF is 30. So this is all are the example of some sunscreen or sunscreen which is formulated according to Indian formulation or available in India. And we already discussed different types of cream. So after completing this lecture, you should know about these learning outcomes. So in learning outcomes, you should know about the brief introduction about sunscreen. We already covered about the sunscreen or what is the sunscreen definition and description part, and how you protect and how sunscreen or the UV light and we affect that particular person and absorb or reflect that particular person, and according to type of skin, which SPF you prefer and what is SPF and how you calculate this SPF. So all these the introduction or complete description of sunscreen is also covered. So you should know about this and production of a sunscreen, how to produce. There's a different vehicle or ingredient that we already see, and which formulation is available in the market or which formulation is formulated. This is not only available in a cream. We already see that it is available in the various formulations, maybe gel, sticks, spray, powder form, or emulsion form. These are the different formulations that is available in the sunscreen. Next is excipient used in sunscreen. Which excipient you use? We already covered different chemicals according to type of the cream, which chemical is available, which chemical is present in particular cream. So which excipient is suitable for a particular cream. So already we discussed this excipient according to type of the cream. Next is evaluation parameter. Evaluation parameter mainly we evaluate the sunscreen with the help of SPF formula or according to SPF protection property. So this is the one of the evaluation parameter, how your sunscreen is protect from that particular wavelength or the UVA and V light, or at what wavelength it protect. So already we covered these formula, and in this we are checking one this formula with the help of ratio of unprotected skin and protected skin. And with the help of these formula, you easily calculate the value for your sunscreen, it is protected or not, with the help of UV light, and how much protection is provided for that particular SPF. So after completing this lecture, you should know about these learning outcome or all of the object or complete introduction about or information about the sunscreen, including a starting introduction part, evaluation parameter, and which formulation is available, the ingredient and additive or production of the sunscreen. All these procedures you should know about after completing this lecture. Next is the reference part. For reference part, you can use any one of the cosmetic book for sunscreen, and in this that we referred, there's a number of sites in Google, and out of this there's some of the book that is have a good matter for the sunscreen is Cosmetics and Toiletries Industries by William and Smith. Next is Cosmetic by Porcher, and next is Cosmetic by Sagarian. And next is Cosmetic Formulation Manufacturing and Quality Control by P.P. Sharma. So these books are sufficient for the sunscreen. You can use all the book or maybe any one of the book for that particular topic. For this reference part, we got the question part. So these questions are mainly dependent on their today's topic or depend on sunscreen. If you know or completely understanding about the sunscreen, then you can easily answer this question. So in question number 1, how often you should be reapply sunscreen when you are outside? We already see this. Means once you apply the sunscreen, we do not protect the effect against the complete day or whole day. We should reapply these sunscreen at particular time period. So we already discussed these time period when you apply, and there is some certain condition like swimming condition or fast sweating or perspirant condition. There is some of the towel apply or you apply in a large amount. And when you are going outside or come contact with sunscreen, there is some reapplying condition that you should reapply your cream in every. A option is at least every hour, B is at least every 2 hours, and C is at least every 4 hours, and this don't need to reapply. According to these four options, you can easily select any one correct option which is suitable for your sunscreen and that you apply for every time period. Next is a recent FDA study show that some sunscreen ingredients are absorbed into the body. That means we already see that your sunscreen should be FDA approved, and according to FDA, we are selecting and formulating this sunscreen. So this recent study that some of the ingredients are absorbed in your body according to FDA. So which is the parameter is correct out of these four options? In this A option is I should continue to use sunscreen as directed. Evidence of absorption should not mean these ingredients are unsafe, and it just means that more data is needed. B is I should stop using sunscreen, and C is I should make my own sunscreen, and D is I should only use sunscreen conservatively. For example, only in little amount of a sunny days. Next and third question, which of these statement is true regarding the sun safety for infants? Everyone can use the sunscreen, but there is some problem or some direction according to their age difference. So you can select any one correct option out of these four options that is safe for infants or according to infants. And this A option is adult are greater risk than infants of the sunscreen and side effects such as rash. And these the infants can be exposed to the sun for a limited amount of a time without the increased risk. Says the sunscreen are not recommended for infants under the sixth month of the age. Next, D, the protective clothing does not have much effect on, and sunscreen is much better than UV protection methods. So these are the four options. According to this, you can select any one correct option, which is suitable for infants. And next, fourth question, the FDA recommended that you do not use sunscreen product that have passes the expiration date. If there's no expiration date that indicate, then what should you do? If you majorly all the formulation are contain some expiry date or some limitation, according to this you should prefer. So there's a four option is not use it. B is report it to FDA. C assume it is truly stable, and if it was purchased within the last 3 years, last stored in the cool and dry place, and is assume it is truly stable and use identically. So these are the four options according to FDA recommended. You can select which option is correct. Next and fifth question. All these are the way to reduce the risk of sun damage to your body, except A is the limiting your time in sun, especially between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. when sun rays are more intense. B is wearing clothing to cover skin exposed to the sun, such as long sleeve shirts, pants, sunglasses, broad brimmed hats. And C is using broad spectrum sunscreen when sun protection factor SPF value is 15 or higher regularly as indirected. D is getting a base tan by using tanning bed or laying out in the sun. So this is the four option according to this, which is correct to reduce the sun damage to your body. C is so next sixth question. In this, when do the FDA and CDC recommended wearing sunscreen? In this, A is while swimming as at the beach on a sunny day. B is while playing outside on the cloudy day. C is while skiing in the winter, and D is all of the above. So according to FDA or CDC, you can select any one correct option which is appropriate for applying or wearing this sunscreen, which time you should prefer or which place you should prefer. And next seventh question is sunscreen level of SPF, that is sun protection factor 15 means you can stay out in the sun 15 times longer than you are normally can without getting burned. B is sun cream light twice as solar radiation through as sunscreen labeled SPF 30. C is it takes 15 times more solar energy to produce sunburn compared to unprotected skin. And D is SPF value tells consumer how broad spectrum protection the sunscreen provide. And next is you can stay out in the sun 15 hours without being burned. So you can easily select this question. We already discussed about SPF and what these SPF 15, 13 is mentioned or what does it mean. So out of these options, you can easily select any one correct option. And next question, eighth question is these are the types of the sun rays from the sun, UVA and B, which does produce a sunburn. In this, you can easily select which ray is more harmful or product sunburn. I already discussed this on A, B, C 3 times, and more dangerous is AB only. So in this option, A is UVA, B is UVB, C is both, and D is none. Next, in ninth question, the SPF, that is protection, sun protection factor rating on sunscreen indices is the level of protection against UVA rays, UVB rays, and C is both, and D is none. So in this question, you can also indicate rating or sunscreen indices level protection against And which ray, A, B, or maybe both A and B, or out of not, this is an option. So according to this, you can also answer this ninth question. Last one, 10th question, which is this sunscreen ingredient is most likely to use allergic reaction. So these are some of the example of ingredient used in sunscreen. You already see these all the example. According to this, you can select any one correct option which cause more allergic reaction or more problem. And this option is A is avobenzone, B is zinc oxide, C is peroxic acid, and D is oxobenzones. These are the four options. Out of these four options, you can easily select any one correct option which have a more allergic reaction or more severe or adverse effect. So this is the all-time question related to today's lecture sunscreen. After completing this lecture, you can easily answer these questions. These questions are very simple. So thank you so much for watching and listening this video. Thank you everyone.